Hello, good morning.
It's Tuesday, it's July 2nd. It's another kind of a cloudy, grey start this morning. It'll clear again later on, much like it was yesterday, and we'll see lovely sunny spells again later on. A little bit cooler, actually. I think 17, 18 the highs today, but still not bad out there at all. So dry, generally, apart from the odd kind of passing shower over the next hour or so, but it'll clear after that. So it should be
Yeah, it's not cold.
No.
I left the house and kind of had this t-shirt on me, and I kind of thought, oh, I probably need a jacket. But then I walked out, I was like, no, I was pleasantly surprised.
That's good.
Now, some of the big stories in the newspapers this morning. Irish Examiner front page, very sad story, that hit and run killing in Limerick over the past 48 hours. Gardaí investigating that fatal hit and run in which boxer Kevin Sheehy was killed have now arrested two men in connection with that incident, and they've been detained at Midlands Garda Station on suspicion of murder. Mr. Sheehy was just 20 years old and was a champion boxer, and he's pictured on the front page of the Irish Examiner with his coach Ken Moore paying tribute to the late Kevin Sheehy. Very sad story. Also on the front page of the Irish Examiner today, another elder care support set to be restricted is the headline. Second service for the elderly has now been restricted. That follows a decision by the HSE to cap the number of so-called transitional care beds that it funds for patients waiting for a place in a nursing home or a convalescent home, and that's on the front page of the Irish Examiner. And the next step, reaching the Super 8s, vital to Cork's progress. And a look at actually who are Cork playing?
Cork are playing Westmeath.
Westmeath,
Sorry,
okay.
That's in the hurling. Oh, Jesus,
Oh, in
Cork
the
are playing Laois.
Yeah, I need to actually familiarise myself now with that. Next round. But anyways, so look ahead to the Cork footballers and what's going on with them at the moment.
Champion boxer killed in senseless hit and run is the Irish Independent's front page story this morning. Gardaí probing the hit and run that claimed the life of the talented Irish boxer. They've arrested two men, as Elaine mentioned there, in connection with his death. Taoiseach criticises EU leaders in deadlock. The Taoiseach has been accused of putting potential political interests in Europe ahead of Ireland amid ongoing deadlock over who should fill the EU's top jobs. That's also in the Irish Independent this morning.
Irish Daily Mail front page has got a photograph of Coco Gauff, because I didn't hear her name being said, the tennis player who beat Venus at Wimbledon yesterday. I'm just reading her name, and I've read it a good few times this morning, and I'm like, I'm still not sure I have this right. But she's only 15. Venus beaten by a teenager, 24-year age gap between them. Pretty cool.
When Venus won her first major, she wasn't born.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, so there's pictures of her in a lot of the papers and online this morning, and she looks very shocked in all those photos.
Yeah.
So well done to her. Fantastic as Wimbledon getting underway. And a High Court judge has told of his great concern about the number of cases of young children committing serious offences, and that's as a result of seeing pornography on smartphones, he says. Sex crimes by young children are starting with smartphone porn, says the judge. And we've said it before, don't stick your head in the sand about this stuff. You need to see what your kids are looking at on their phones and on their tablets, because there's a lot of porn. A lot of it's pretty disgusting. So you need to talk to them about what they're looking at and get real about it. I think a lot of people just don't want to know. It's like, I hope little Johnny and Mary aren't looking at that stuff. And that's it. That's the kind of conversation.
Can I give you...
I hope they're not.
Anybody whose parents check their phone are going to hate me for this, but any parent who'd like to check their child's phone, especially if they have an iPhone, there's this thing called screen time.
Yeah.
And on screen time, you can check, what's basically how long they've had their phone in their hand for, right? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
But within the screen time section of your settings in your phone, you can actually, even if they've deleted their history, you can actually see what website they've been spending the longest time on.
Cool.
On Safari. Just a tip for you.
That's good.
So even if they delete their history, it's still on that section of it. Just something just worth noting.
Yeah.
Anybody who likes to clear their browsing history.
I know some of my friends, younger teenagers, have phones, but they've got the phones on condition that the parent is allowed access to it at any time they want. So they know their password and all the rest. But now, look, I know people find ways around everything, but you certainly need to be... you need to be realistic, I think.
Savvy.
Yeah, definitely.
The Mirror this morning leads with the same story: tragedy of rising boxing star Kevin Sheehy mowed down in Limerick hit and run. The two people have been arrested on that. And then what makes this even more tragic is that his fiancée is due to give birth in 5 weeks' time. He was going to be a dad for the first time. So even more tragedy hits that poor family, but that's on the front page there. And election fever hotting up as government seeks bids to provide 4 million papers at the cost of just over €500,000. Although the next election must be held by April 10th, 2020 at the latest, most observers believe it will be called much sooner. That's the Mirror running with that story as well this morning.
Some of the things people are talking about on Twitter this morning, obviously Wimbledon and that big shock upset yesterday, Venus Williams beaten by a 15-year-old. A lot of people talking about that. Canada Day yesterday, and people sharing everything that they love about Canada as well on Twitter. And of course a lot of Irish people have lived in Canada and are living there, and some of them listening to us, actually messages from places like Vancouver. We get quite a few messages from there. And this isn't trending, but I thought it was worth mentioning, but Ireland's oldest person has passed away.
Oh, right.
Mary Coyne was from Roscommon and she was 108. I kind of thought our oldest person might be a little bit older than that. But
108, wow.
yeah, I mean, it's an amazing age.
Yeah.
Her maiden name was Griffin. She was from near Castlereagh and predeceased by her husband Roger some years ago. She was a mum of two, a grandmother and a great-grandmother. And a few years ago on her 100th birthday, she was interviewed and they said, to what do you attribute your longevity? And she said, to taking life one day at a time. I know Sean Hurley interviewed a woman years ago and she was very elderly as well, and he asked her what was the secret to it. And she Weetabix in the morning and a little bit of whiskey at night or something like that. So she had her own little tricks.
Little quirks, I love it.
Yeah.
Spider-Man Far From Home is trending as well this morning. It's released worldwide today, and some of the cast were pictured visiting some sick children in hospital over the past number of days, giving them kind of signed bits and pieces, and they're kind of doing all the press stuff for it now ahead of its release. Love Island is trending as well this morning, so Michael and Curtis are after getting their heads turned, and now they're all going back into both villas tonight, so both people from Castlemore and the villa are going to come in together and have one big massive party, and then everybody's going to be like, oh my god, I can't believe he did that and I can't believe she did that.
Wait, there's more than one house?
There's a second house. That's where those 12 contestants went last week.
Is that way they kept talking about Casa Amor? That's a different thing, is it?
Yeah, so it's like a villa that's like we're here, and the second villa is like the Ash Hotel distance, like.
Okay.
And the 6 girls went there, and then 6 new boys came into them, and then 6 new girls came into the villa to the 6 older boys, and it's like, oh my god, OMFG Totox. So that's what's going on in Love Island. That pretty much sums up Love Island there for anybody who wants to just start watching it tonight. There's 12 new people and there's couples being turned all over the place.
I'm kind of sorry I haven't watched it because so many people I know from all walks of life, all ages, are loving Love Island. Really conservative people who I wouldn't have thought would be into it are like, yeah, it's class. I don't get. I'm kind of feeling I'm missing out a little bit on it all.
Are you suffering from what's been described in this several times as FOMO?
I am FOMO a little bit.
Are you FOMOing?
I'm foaming a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what's going on there. Yeah. Now, yesterday on the show, Who's for Breakfast was guessed. €180 was won by Brian, and he correctly guessed Graham Shaw. Who? Graham Shaw was, we were trying to be thinking outside the box a little bit, but also trying to get somebody who was in the news recently. Graham Shaw was the Irish women's hockey coach who brought us to the World Cup final. I say us. Like, I'm a huge fan.
Well, last summer, Graham Shaw would have been interviewed loads.
A lot, yeah.
So we kind of thought from that people might have remembered his voice, but Brian did.
He did, yeah.
And he did remember, the clip was about them meeting up once a week. Brian remembered him talking about the fact that they didn't meet up a lot and they were still trying to train for a World Cup. So well done to Brian, €180 he's won. But it does mean we started a new one today.
Yeah.
So I haven't heard it yet, actually.
Oh, yeah, I'll play for you there in a second. Yeah. It's a he, anyway.
So I don't know if it's man, woman or child. Oh, it's a he. Okay.
It's a he.
So that'll start this morning. We're right back down at €50 with thanks to Moriarty Centre and Central Carl Sales in Fard 4. We'll start that again tomorrow morning. So tune in for your chance to win £50 today. £50
today, yeah. We are continuing with our 3-decade triple play and more chances to win some lovely prizes from the Glen Eagle Hotel Group as well. So there's loads happening on the show as well this morning. Yeah, we're live on Radio Kerry in 1 minute. Okay, we better go. We'll talk to you guys soon. Have a brilliant Tuesday. Crack on, Bev, slacks, all those sexy words. FOMO.